Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome to Mondays with Meira. I'm so glad you're here tonight. So, I'd like us to begin by simply arriving. So, wherever you are, if you can sit, take a slow breath in and let it go. And another slow breath in and let it go. And just allow your shoulders to soften and allow yourself to settle into this moment. And if you'd like to, you can type one word into the chat describing how you're arriving tonight. How are you feeling? Let me just see. Hopeful, oddly hopeful. Calm, yet anxious. Okay, good. I see you. And so for the people just arriving, we're just typing one word in about how we're feeling as we arrive tonight. So you can do that if you have a word that you want to put in. I'm glad to see you. Okay. Bit of a hurry, but here now. Great. Great. This won't be a really long session, but it's going to be a really good one. Bezrat Hashem. Okay. Great. So, for those who are new, I want to welcome you. Mondays with Meira is simply a reflective space. It's not a workshop and it's not a lecture. It's a place where women pause and explore the deeper questions of life and love together. So some women will share and some women simply listen, and both are completely welcome. Everything that's shared here stays here. And I will stop the recording at the end and give you time for personal questions or shares that you might have. So let us all agree to allow all of us to be both brilliant and imperfect, including me. Thank you. So I'm going to do a little teaching, and then we're going to have a short guided visualization, and then we will wind up. Okay, and then as I said, after I turn off the recording, then you can ask your questions. Okay. So I want to begin with a question. How many of you have ever thought something like, I've done so much work on myself, so why am I still here? This topic of tonight. And if that's ever crossed your mind, type yes or sometimes into the chat. Yes. Naha. Yes. Great. Thank you so much. So I think many of us unconsciously believe that there's a formula, right? If I heal enough, if I grow enough, if I understand myself enough, then love is going to happen, right? And if it hasn't happened, maybe I haven't done enough work yet. But I'm here to tell you that relationships don't work like mathematics. There isn't an equation where doing enough healing work or whatever kind of work you're doing on yourself automatically produces a partner. So that's both frustrating and liberating, right? The purpose of inner work was never to guarantee that you'll have a relationship. The purpose of inner work is to help us become more whole, more self-aware, resilient, more capable of recognizing, receiving, and sustaining love when it appears. So the work that you've done, all this work that you've been doing for all this time, has not been wasted simply because the outcome that you desire hasn't arrived yet. I think some women here need to hear this tonight. I want to share something a little personal, okay? Maybe this will help. After I was widowed, there came a point when I felt ready to start dating again. And eventually, I met someone who seemed wonderful, amazing, actually. He was intelligent, interesting, easy to talk to, very good looking. And after 2 very long dates, I found myself feeling hopeful. Not because I was planning a future, and not because I thought I had met the one, but because something inside me had finally opened again. I had allowed myself to hope. And after widowhood, that's no small thing. And then he ended it. He wanted to continue seeing other women, and that hurt. But what stayed with me afterward wasn't actually the disappointment. It was the realization that I had done something brave. I had shown up. I had opened my heart enough to care. I had taken a risk. And eventually, when the hurt started to dissipate, I realized something important. That success wasn't that the relationship lasted. Hang on 1 second. 2 more people. Okay. Success wasn't that the relationship lasted. It didn't. The success was that I had become willing to love again. Because none of us can control other people's choices, can we? We can only choose whether disappointment hardens us or teaches us, right? So I think that many women here know some version of that experience. Not necessarily the exact same story, but the experience of finally allowing themselves to hope and then being disappointed, right? And that's where something important happens. I don't think that most women become closed because they're unwilling. I think many women become tired, tired of hoping, tired of starting over again. tired of being disappointed again, tired of believing that something might happen and then finding themselves right back where they started. But that's not a closed heart. The word for that is hope fatigue. It's a new one, right? And hope fatigue can quietly convince us of things that aren't necessarily true. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe everyone else gets to have a chance except me. When we're discouraged, we stop seeing clearly. So it's usually not a lack of effort or a lack of courage. Sometimes it's just disappointment. That's all. So perhaps the question isn't, have I done enough work? Maybe the question is, how do I keep my heart alive while life unfolds on its own timeline? Or rephrase that for my friends here. How do I keep my heart alive when Hashem is working on his own timeline? Hmm? That's a very different question, and a much kinder one. So I would like to do a short guided experience, if you will. So if you'd like, place a hand over your heart and take a slow breath in and slowly let it out. And another slow breath in and slowly let it out. And allow your eyes to close, because it's much easier to imagine when your eyes are closed. So allow yourself to relax in your seat. And in your mind's eye, imagine yourself 1 year from now. And you don't need to know whether you're in a relationship. You don't need to know exactly how your story unfolds. Just allow yourself to see yourself a year into the future. So where are we? June 2027. And just look at her. Notice how she carries herself. Notice her energy. Notice her face. She's lived another year. She's learned more. She has grown. And perhaps most importantly, she no longer believes that disappointment gets the final word. What feels different about her? Just notice, not externally, but internally. Feel into her, your future self. Is she calmer? Maybe more trusting, more hopeful. How is she? Peaceful? Maybe more open? Answer for yourself. Now ask yourself, what has she stopped carrying? What has she stopped carrying? What has she let go of? Maybe it's self-blame. Maybe comparing herself to others. Or discouragement. Maybe she's released the feeling that her life is somehow on hold. So what has she let go of? And whether love arrives next month, next year, or maybe in a way she cannot yet imagine, she knows something now that perhaps you are only beginning to discover. Her life is not on hold. And so when you're ready, thank her for being with you today and release her back to the future. Take a nice deep breath and let that settle. And when you're ready, you can allow yourself to come back to the room, back to your chair. And if you'd like to rub your hands together till they're warm, and put your warm palms over your eyes and open your eyes to the warm hands. Great. So if you would like to, and I would encourage you to, type one word into the chat describing what you experienced or what stood out for you from that experience. Very curious. Optimism, beautiful. Quiet, beautiful. Anything else? trying to be open to optimism. Great. Anyone else? Great. Thank you. So, before we close, I want to say something. Awareness is important. That's what we experienced tonight. But awareness alone doesn't always change a pattern. Sometimes we need another person to help us see what we cannot see by ourselves. And this is why I offer you an opportunity to talk it out with me for free. It's a 30-minute conversation for women who feel I've done so much work and yet something is still not moving. Together we'll look at where you are, what may be keeping you stuck, and what your next step might be. Women often leave these conversations with a level of clarity they've been searching for years. If that resonates with you, book a call with me. Don't wait. I open only a few calls per week. So I'm going to place the link in the chat. Make it easy for you. Second. So I want to leave you with this. The goal is not to become perfect. It's not to finish the healing. You can find a partner without finishing the healing. The goal is not even to earn love. The goal is to remain available to the life and love that are possible for you now. So I want to thank you for being here tonight. If you're watching the replay, thank you for being here, and you also have access to the link. So I'm going to now stop the recording.